We talked about Kareem Hunt the other day, and we spoke about how the female called him the N-word, and the mainstream white media didn't want to reveal that at first. They tried to hide that. They tried to put it as Kareem Hunt just being a big black brute, and he needs to lose his career, and just trying to run a nasty smear campaign against his brother. But then when social media did its job and put out there the comments that she made to this brother and the other black men, then they had to back off a little bit on Kareem Hunt. Now, we have another type of mentality that we must challenge. And I am glad Shannon Sharpe challenged that mentality, because that mentality is always directed exclusively at black men. Now, Shannon Sharpe is going to retort what this female on their show is saying about Kareem Hunt. Because anytime a black man do one thing wrong, he should lose his whole career. But when you have other athletes that have done the same thing that were white, none of these females that are white advocate for those white men to lose their job completely. But I want you to hear exactly what Shannon says to her. Let's roll that clip.
This isn't new. This isn't a new issue for the NFL. And you listen to the video and you watch Kareem, and I do believe he's sorry. And I'm sure he was under the influence of something. Well, he didn't admit that, which doesn't really change the thing. But I just don't know if he deserves another shot, because you make that mistake.
Really? You think?
I don't know if he does.
So here's my thing now.
Wow.
If this
It makes me sick.
I just want to make sure we're clear. If this is a lifetime ban for a professional athlete, I want doctors, I want police officers, I want everybody to get a lifetime ban. Because it just can't be for domestic violence if you're a professional athlete. I want everybody that has an occupation to suffer a lifetime ban.
By the way,
the way we're going.
understand
I'm
that.
not even sure this qualifies as domestic violence. It was just assault. to
Right.
me.
So I just want to make sure, if that's the road we're going to travel down. If you put your hands on a woman, no matter your occupation, it's got to be a lifetime ban. No more employment for you. Because what I'm starting to hear is more of that, well, he's a professional athlete, he doesn't deserve to do anything anymore. No, doctors, lawyers, firemen, policemen, school teachers, bankers. I want that to be the uniformity across the board.
Well, obviously,
it is a high standard. You have to. You are held to a higher standard.
So doctors are not held to a high standard?
Well, but I'm just saying, in the NFL, you should know better.
Let me ask you a question. If he was not in the NFL, what would be the difference?
I mean,
But
all
NFL
people should be held to that standard.
NFL
but the
players are
NFL,
looked at as role models and representatives of
So
a
what
league
is-
that
what is the-
operates
what is the
on
doctor
its
looked at?
image.
They are also looked at very
so a
highly,
lot of
and that
times
would be
you-
handled in a different way. But
Why?
this is the NFL.
Why?
Because you are held to a higher standard.
But you said, are you saying doctors and lawyers are not held to a standard? And school teachers. Do you see, Jenny?
But a lot of time the public doesn't even know what inspires.
So
it becomes so public.
But see, you got to excuse the NFL because they didn't know the tape existed. So what they didn't know.
Well, they had to know the tape existed.
Okay,
There
then.
was a
So
tape.
if it's the veil of secrecy, if we don't know who you are, if you Joe America and you do this, you can go on about your life. But if you're a professional athlete and we know about it, you should be held to a high standard. That's not the way the justice and the law said it's blind.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Now, did you hear how Shannon Sharpe called this woman out? He called her out on her racism without even saying the word racism. That was the best thing ever. Now, when he said that if you're going to do that to him and ban him for life, then you need to ban the police officers, you need to ban the doctors, the lawyers, you need to ban the construction workers, you need to ban people that work at Walmart, you need to ban whoever it is that's committing domestic violence, male or female. He didn't say male or female, I stated that, because women do domestic violence as well. So male or female, lifetime ban, you can't work anymore. And then when he brought up what's the difference with a doctor and a lawyer, because there's high-end jobs, and actually what a doctor does is extremely important and is definitely way more in value than what a professional athlete is doing, right? She had nothing to say. She couldn't retort it. She couldn't say anything. She didn't want to go on there and say, you know what, yeah, they should lose. The doctor should never be able to practice medicine again if he does that. Or lawyers should never be able to practice law again. She didn't say that. No, but she didn't say it because that wasn't her stance on someone that commits domestic violence. That was her stance on black men. That's what it was, and he called her out. And when he called her out, she couldn't even look at him. She had to look away from him because she knew what she was saying, and he had her on it. That was a beautiful thing that Shannon Sharpe did to this woman. See, as black men, they don't want us to have anything, period. And anything that they want to give you, understand they can try to take away from you at the same time. So any little infraction that a black man does, let's take his job away. Let's take his endorsements away. They feel that they gave you a privilege, that they just pulled your card and say, okay, Mr. Black Man, you can play in the NFL. I know black men who made it to the NFL and the hard work they put in for years to get into professional football. Not everybody that plays football get into the NFL. No, those guys work hard, but they act like it's a privilege for you to be there and say, oh, they're paying you all that money. Because remember, they are the stalkers of black folks. They will stalk and pocket watch your money. They'll be watching your relationships. They watch everything you're doing. Now, if there was their attitude completely just by any athlete, then I wouldn't say that. But they don't pocket watch the white athletes. They don't talk about what the infractions of the white athletes. They don't talk about that. And they do things too. But no, when it comes to the black man, let's always drag him through the mud for any little thing that he chooses to do. This is why I stated more and more times before, I would never join with them in a media lynch mob against another black man. I'm not doing it. I'm always going to go to the defense of those brothers or sisters when I see that happening. Because usually when you do that, you don't do it for the other side. How many times have white athletes in the NFL have committed domestic violence or been accused of sexual assault? And you don't hear them smearing them through the mud constantly. You don't hear it. Whether it's NBA or whoever else, a black man got to be dragged through the mud. It's our job to stand up and say something against them when they do this. But this attitude that black men shouldn't be able to play in the NFL anymore, for when it didn't even happen on season, it didn't happen in a Kansas City Chief uniform or any kind of Kansas City gear. It was on his off time, his own personal time. The police didn't charge him for it. So why you want him to lose his job? Why you don't want him to not get picked up by another team? This the things that a lot of times they like to do to the black man. And we as black men must realize that we are the most hated group of men on the planet. On the planet. Every group has some sort of retort, some sort of thing they can't stand about us as black men. And the thing is, we ain't done nothing to none of them. We haven't. They can't say one thing that we have done as a collective of men to hurt anybody. But yet we are the ones that are hated the most. And that's fine by me. That's why I push us to unify and love ourselves. Because we love ourselves, who cares if nobody like you, right? But this want to ban a black man from doing his job forever just to please you, no. That's just not going to work. That's not going to go down. Because that's wrong. And if you're not going to do it to everybody, or you can't do it to just one guy. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story and how Shannon Sharpe checked this female on her racism, because that's what it was. It was complete racism. But Kareem, he needs to assess the situation. He needs to make sure to keep certain females away from him at all times, because females like that is a dime a dozen. They're going to keep coming.